What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and of course we need to talk today a little bit more about like your first steps in danchro, because a lot of you guys have been pretty responsive to the 101 level videos so far. And as I go through my dailies here, I think it's really important to kind of grasp what you need to do to on the daily to just kind of keep up with the game. So let's start off with basically the first things you do when you go in and you finish your main daily quests. Now, to kind of introduce the whole process here, if you go over here to missions, your daily missions here, these are the ones you want to pay the most attention to. So, it says log in after 4 p.m. UTC, whatever that is, your time zone. Honestly, like, I log in the evening, I log in the morning, I'll eventually get it. It just is what it is. Clear any quest 3 times, we'll get there. Clear a daily quest. Exchange a daily free pack at the shop. That's an important one. We'll talk about that towards the end. Battle Arena, Enhancement Quest, and 4 daily missions, and there will actually be more missions unlocked that like do 6, 7, blah, blah, blah. So, let's get started. Go ahead and go back to the main screen here, and the way I do it is I always go over here to Quest, and then I go to my daily quest. Now, it's funny that this is daily quest when there's like multiples here, and since there's so much on the screen, it can be kind of cumbersome. So, first thing I do is I go over here to my daily quest. Now, you're probably, when you first start out, only going to have like Battle 1, Battle 2. Just fight all these as best you can, and once you've completed all the way up to Battle 6 and you have all of these unlocked, then legit, make your life simple. Just come down here and press skip. It's that easy. But if you have to manually battle one, we'll just go ahead and just jump in here to Battle 1 real quick. Make the best team you can. This is not a hard event at all. So let's kind of, I don't want to get rid of this team, but I'm going to anyway. So let's just get rid of her. And let's just start off with your very base entry-level Bell. Unfortunately, mine is limit broken just because I didn't foresee doing this way. So my power might be a little bit higher than yours. Hestia, funny enough, is not limit broken. So, hilariously. So we're going to go ahead and swap these teams around. By the way, it's a quickie way that you can just swap teams from time to time. Swap these 2 units over, and then I can just remove her, and we'll be down to like our base, just regular level. So I'm already at power level 9 just with this team, with no scene cards, with no items, with no nothing. So you will have an opportunity to power up this team and take on quite a few things. In fact, and we'll get to it a little bit more, but as you play along in the game, let's go ahead and go to upgrade and take a look at that Bell. Boom. You will be able to accrue tons, and I mean tons of his bonds, which will make more sense as the game goes on, but just absorb this for now. You want to get him up to level 60 pretty quickly. I could limit break him to level 70, but I'll be totally honest with you. The items to do that are not worth the investment you get. So honestly, for me at level 60, he's perfect. He's absolutely great, and I have no desire to go any further with him, and you'll kind of see why as we move into the latter portion of this. You can actually go into his ability board here, and you can unlock stages of his ability board if you go down here to bonds and just use bonds to do it. Like I said, I'm sitting on 50 bonds of his, so I can just keep unlocking and making this guy more and more and more powerful. This is a unit you can use in the early game to just do an insane number of things that the early level units probably frankly shouldn't do. It's one of the things I really liked about this game when it first dropped, the fact they give you so much capability. In fairness, the ability board wasn't really as much a thing when we started the game, but now that it is and you have all this capability, because you're going to get tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of free tickets to do summons with. So it's just a golden opportunity to take advantage of that. Kind of info overload, but it'll make sense here in a moment. So let's go back in here to quest. Go to our daily quest. Now I'm curious how far down I can go with just Bell and Hestia before we kind of run out of power. So let's go in here to prepare to attack for 2. Recommended power is 7,020. So I'm willing to bet Battle 3 is probably the end of the road for him. Okay, 11,000. However, remember, the more you apply upgrades, the more you apply scene cards and buffs. I haven't even limit broken Hestia, who probably could, yeah, she could stand some limit breaks. Let's go ahead and limit break her real quick. And you can see I'm just sitting on bonds that I've never done anything with. So as we limit break her her power is going to go up, and that's really how this is kind of accrued. It'll make sense. We didn't talk about power yesterday, but power really comes into play when you start doing a lot of these events. So, she's max limit broken. She should be level 60 as well. Let's see. Yeah, she's level 50, so we'll take her up to level 60, just for giggles. Ooh, but I don't know if I have level up items. I do not. I do not, and it is going to affect her. That's fine. You know what? We'll make do with what we've got here. So let's go back in here to the, not the arena, into the quests. Go back to the daily quests. Let's see how much power they've accrued now. Just these 2 units right out of the gate. That's it. Nothing else. We're at 9,000. So we didn't get a big boost out of that. But once again, if I did her ability board and if I did some more upgrades on her, I am just sadly out of items because I'm doing some other upgrades along the way. It'll make more sense later on in the game. Actually, probably by the time you get to the point I'm at where I'm doing level 90s, level 100s, it probably won't be an issue in the game since those were just introduced as we're doing this video. But you can then go in here and start equipping scene cards. Now, to make life easy, you're not going to have probably access to too many UR and even SSR scene cards at the start. But there's plenty of SR and R scene cards, and these even UR scene cards that are free to play that drop. So you'll have plenty of opportunities to do this. So let's go ahead and equip just some random scene cards here. I'm not really going to pay too close of attention to what we're equipping just to see what kind of numbers we get out. There we are. So we're almost up to the recommended power here. And then we can go ahead and start equipping. And I'll once again sort this down by SR and SSR. There we go. Let's do that. And then this one just gives a stat boost. So what would be the best stat boost? I don't know. Maybe that. Gives a lot of HP. All right. So we're just under the power requirement. So if I actually did limit break Hestia, or say limit break, if I did level her up to level 60, we would be right at the recommended power. So at this point, I probably could run this event if Hestia was level 60, and that's fantastic. And that gets us all the way through Battle 3. Those are literally your first 3 days in the game, and you're already there, and you're getting these rewards. So that's fantastic. Now, if I'm completely honest, come down here to Battle 6. For me, I've already beaten this, so what's really nice is they give you this skip button. So I could just skip the event. Bam, we get the rewards. And what that does is it basically emulates a run with the last team you used. So within like a week of the game, you should probably be skipping these pretty easily. The power requirement for that one is going to be pretty intense. Until you get some more URs and SRs and whatnot, you probably won't be able to get much past Battle 4 or Battle 5, but you get plenty of free-to-play currency, and frankly, you get all that through the story quests. Once you complete all these story quests, you will have plenty of currency to go in and do some summons, and if you're not doing paid summons. Once again, I'm always going to default for the free-to-play player, so if you're whaling, you're probably way ahead of the game. But nevertheless, that's the daily quest. Sort of. The other half of that is the upgrade quest, and this is very similar in that it's going to give you, each and every day, there's a bunch of different things that run. Today, it is the Exilia books. I think tomorrow is Valis, if I recollect. And on the weekend, they run an arrangement of different things that you can actually select from, including upgrade items for specific elements, upgrade items for adventure and assist. Right now, we're running these skill level upgrades for assists. Yesterday, it was for adventurers. And like I said, tomorrow, it'll be Valis, which is your currency up top, those little gold coins up top. You can accrue a bunch of those pretty easily, and I've got all those in pretty decent detail throughout the channel. Those have never really changed over time. So if you want a little more in depth, we can cover that day by day, but at the moment, the main thing here is to just know that you need to run this on the daily, and it will change daily. So as far as this goes, when you first run this, you probably won't be able to do much more than the normal quest. Let's see what the power requirement is here. So the power requirement is 6,200. Now I did upgrade them. So probably before upgrades, you're not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. So if we go over here to the hard mission, let's see what that requires. Yeah, we're a little low. So let's add in here an SSR unit and see what we get. So we're going to filter this down. to SSRs. Because as you do summons, you'll be able to accrue SSRs pretty easily. They're not hard to come by. There's nothing special about an SSR at this stage of the game. So let's just grab her. She's got like no limit breaks on her at all, which shame on me. But, you know, this is a good representation of what you're going to see early game. So we've got her, just her alone, we're now over 16,000, and we haven't even added an assist yet. So let's go ahead and filter this down by SSRs and grab an SSR assist. Osvi, great. Another unit with no limit breaks. I'll have to go fix that. Don't judge. It worked out for the sake of doing these videos. Plus, I never use these units anymore. I'm going to tell you guys right away, by like the first month of the game, you will completely forget that SRs and SSRs are a thing. They will be a complete thing of the past for you. You will be doing nothing but UR runs, and these guys will be old potato. You know, old, just old. Just, I'm not even going to make an analogy. It's just going to be old. So, now we're at 20,000 power, which begs the question, how much do you need for a very hard run? So let's kind of back out here. Go to very hard, and let's see. So we need 26,000. So let's add another SSR on there. And I do have some units that are limit broken. I'll grab Wealth because he's a good representation. And then we will grab her. Pause. That's how you get arrested. So now we are at 34,000 power. And this is a completely easily built free-to-play team within an early realm of the game. So now we've got a team that is at 34,000 power, and you will probably be able to do this in practically no time. You might not have them limit broken, but the honest answer is you are inevitably going to get those limit breaks. They just drop as you do summons. Most people within like a month or two of playing the game will be able to make a team like this, but significantly better. We're literally talking the worst possible scenario. You're strictly free to play. You do all of your summons, and you get just insanely shafted. You could still come in and do all your daily events. So now you know you can come in here and you can run the very hards. And then once you've completed the very hards, the beautiful thing is that little skip button that I can't reach because my green screen's cutting off. That little skip button opens up. So I can actually go over here now. And the beautiful thing is when you're far enough in the game, you'll be able to just go ahead and skip the whole event. Quick, easy, and to the point. I'm at the stage now in the game, and most people are usually within about a month of playing the game, or maybe even weeks of playing the game, that you can come in here and clear all this out in minutes. In minutes. So it's not going to be a big deal. So we need to go back out here, and we need to briefly talk about Growth Quest, because I'll be totally honest with you guys, you are not ready for this, and you will not be able to do this until much later in the game. We have dedicated videos just to Growth Quest. It's something that, as of recording this, was recently added to the game, and you absolutely must have fully limit broken units in order to run it, and even your SSRs and your SSRs, some could struggle and maybe pull it off, but SRs don't stand a chance. So I wouldn't even worry about this. I would say walk away from this for now, and it might be a thing for you when you have a limit broken UR, which might take a while. So I wouldn't even sweat about Growth Quests for now. When you do, we got full videos just on Growth Quest 1, 2, and 3 are coming as of recording this. Probably by the time you get there, those videos will be out. So that's that. That's upgrade quests. And like I said, for me, I go in there, skip the first one, skip the second one, it's done. Minute tops, and I'm done with all my upgrade quests. So while I am going deep diving each one of these, you don't have to. You just flat don't have to. Like, within a week, you'll be like, why did he explain so much? The answer is because I have to. But the answer is you'll be able to skip, you'll be able to move on. Okay? We do have events, and different events are going to require different things. I'm not going to cover it, but just know the event button is here. It will take you to whatever the current event is, and you'll be able to go in here and do whatever you do. Don't look at that ranking. I auto-ran that. It's embarrassing, and I need to go do a better run. But there are some of these events that will have daily things, or some of these events that will just be pretty lackadaisical, like this current one. It really depends. That's just events. Now, as far as the daily stuff goes, the next thing you want to do is come down here and you want to run Battle Arena. All right? Now, Magic Stone Scramble isn't required. There are weekly events on Magic Stone Scramble. It's going to be really tough. Magic Stone Scramble, we have full videos on the channel dedicated to it. In fact, I need to re-up that because things have changed a little bit in it. But that's its own debacle. You don't have to do it on the daily. It's a weekly event, and it's kind of frivolous. However, you do need to run a Battle Arena every day. And when you are at the stage where you've got SRs and SSRs, you're not going to be winning a lot of battles. However, you need to do it anyway, and you need to accrue points. So, to do Battle Arena, once you click on here and once you get in here, each Battle Arena has a different effect. In the early stage of the game, you're probably not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. But go up here to Field Effects, that'll tell you essentially what's going on. So, information overload, once again, but I will break this down to make it easier. So it grants 150% shield at the start of battle. At the start of battle, everyone gets a defensive boost. 150% defensive boost. Everybody, regardless. Reduces technique damage by 80%, reduces special move damage by 80%. If you remember back to our discussion about skill 1, skill 2, and ults, all those damages are reduced by 80%. So it's all about the normal attack damage with this one. This will change every time we get a new season of Battle Arena, so you just need to come in here and check it out. And I will always drop a video on the new Battle Arenas. Attack roll. Increase normal attack damage by 150%. So essentially, if you remember back to our discussion on attackers versus defense versus speed versus support, attackers all get 150 damage on that base level attack they do. Remember, techniques and ults are reduced, and normal attacks are 150% more than their normal damage. So if the normal damage is 100, they're down to 250. It's that easy. Defense roll, reduce endurance by 50%. So if you're running a defensive unit, basically they're going to take whatever that endurance number that you have, and they're going to cut it in half. Basically, it's a way to nerf defense units, so you can't just stand there, run all defense, and tank every hit, especially with that shield at 150%. Increased inflicted damage by 50% for linked anime characters. Not super relevant to the new player. At the moment, they're really pushing hard the stuff from Season 5. So if it's a unit from Season 5, they get just a 50% boost on all their damage. It just is what it is. That's probably going to change, and that'll probably go away here shortly. But as of recording this, that is what's in play. If you're watching this 6 months down the road, it'll be completely different. Now, you also got to consider if you are first getting into the game and whatever you're doing, those effects aren't going to have a lot of bearing on what you've got. But this is where you need to, number one, go limit break your SSRs. Go limit, get some really good items. Get some really good equips. You are going to be fighting people at a... you'll probably wind up fighting people at just a phenomenal level. Here's the deal, guys. You have a button up top that says update. Use it. Use it and use it wisely. So if I go through here, now I'm currently fairly high ranked. I'm in hero rank. It's the top rank, but I'm only like 853 out of 1,000 on this bad boy. So I could use some rank ups. And as I go through here, I'm going to compare my battle power to other people's battle power. So let's just compare to this guy right here, right? Click on fight. He's got a level 100 Hegni. I, however, have a level 100 Artemis. Hegni's an attacker. He's going to do increased damage. Artemis is also an attacker. She's going to do an increased damage. We haven't really talked about elements as much as we've talked about rolls. But on top of the elements, you also have, or on top of the rolls, you also have elements. So, Artemis is a fire element. If you look up there at the top corner, you'll see that fire elements are actually strong against wind elements. We might stand a pretty good chance of battling this guy. So what I could do is I could put Artemis in slot 1, take on the event, and you can just once again do that by clicking on your particular unit. I grab Philvis and I move her to slot 1 or slot 2, so on and so forth. And then you can shuffle your units around and approach who you need to approach. We do have Hegni in slot 2, who would be weak against an Earth unit, and I don't really have an Earth unit up for grabs. And he has Ryu, a defensive Ryu, no less, in slot 3. And she is going to be strong against my Bell, but she's a defensive unit. She doesn't produce as much damage. So I probably wouldn't want Bell there. I would probably actually much prefer I would probably put Filvis in that slot. But here's the thing. I'm looking up at their the battle power. Now, battle power isn't always a super informative metric here, and you will find that out much later on. But in your early game, do pay attention to that battle power. So he's outranking me by 10,000. I probably don't want to take this on. I probably want to back out and go look at a fight that I can take on reasonably. Okay? So, let's look at this fight. My battle power is higher. I have a defense unit in the front. She's not, she's not necessarily like super effective against Otarl, who's a green element. She'd be better against a red element, but I do have, eyes on the back end, and if I move my Ryu, or I've got eyes on the back end, and I've got Bell on the back end, and that is so my green element Bell would be strong against their yellow element Bell, so I could just swap them around. Yep. And now my red element Artemis is going to be strong against their green element Eyes. I feel pretty confident I'm going to win this fight. The only thing that's even remote question mark here is going to be the first battlers. And I'll be honest with you, that'll come down to I wipe the other two units out, and then it's 3-on-1. But just in case you don't find a fight you like, go up here and click update. And it'll list a whole bunch of new fights. So, I see a level 70, but he is rank 315, and I'm sure he's that rank for a reason. The temptation to take on that team is high, but I do feel like we are going to suffer because I see that rank and I go, that's probably not a great. This is probably a bad example. So they have defensive Otarl, and it looks like they've got his defense buffed to the moon. This guy's going to be a tough nut to crack. He is going to be really, really, really hard to kill. I also have Haruhime, and she is likely going to be level boosting him, so he is going to be that much harder to take out. You'll know these things when you get further into the match. There's also that Electric Artemis, and she is a really rock-solid unit. On paper, I probably stand a pretty good chance, but I will tell you, in practice, I don't think I want to take this team on, knowing what these units do. So this is another example of where battle power may not necessarily indicate your capabilities. When you get later on in the match, you'll know what some of these units are capable of. But for your early match, just look for something that's a pretty good fit. Let's see down here. Level 100 Otarl. We're going to do another update and see what we've got. So I know when I look at some of these defensive units are really... So here's an all-defense team. And remember, defense endurance is reduced, but they're still going to be very tough to take out. So I'm probably looking... The top team's all level 80s with a level 70, but they're also ranked 300. So let's update one more time and just see what we get. Every 10 seconds you can do an update, and you can just cycle through this and see what units you want to take on. Gosh, good grief. Stop with the high-level stuff. Man, this is not looking favorable. Let's find somebody that's more on our level. Here we go. Bell, Otarl, and Artemis, all level 80. I see the battle power down here, but there's reasons I don't like that team. Let's go up here. All right, so I think this team's pretty good fit for us. I will go ahead and put her. I'll swap their places. Okay. And I think that will work, perhaps. Because she's going to take out Bell pretty quickly. She's level 100. Bell will fall. My Bell is actually set up so that he'll do his ult right out of the gate. I'm going to go ahead and give her some strength boosters. So let's go ahead and get rid of our filters here. I am overthinking this, but the honest answer is I don't want to lose. So I'm going to give her these for the stat boosts. If you want to know more about this, go watch our video on these, on how to set up items and all that kind of stuff. That looks pretty good. I feel pretty confident. Now, here's the thing. There's a button down here that says 5 times match. When you are first jumping in the game, do not use this. Do not use this until you've got a really solid team. Okay? So if you're not completely confident you can win, don't use that button. Do not use that button. I'm going to, though. So when you're like SSRs and URs and things like, or SSRs and SRs, and you're in the early part of the early stage of the game, don't use that button. You're wasting efforts. Essentially what you're doing is you're using 5 items, 5 of the stamina items for this event, and saying, I'm confident, I've got this, I can win, I want 5 times the rewards. You're not going to feel that confident early on. See, there we go. Now, this is all auto battle. All of this is completely automated. The computer, the AI will run everything. For better or worse. That is what it is. For better or worse, it will do its thing. Then, I win. Yay! I get some rewards. So, like I said, I wouldn't do 5 times rewards early on. And if you want to know how stamina works in this event, you go up here to the very tip top. You'll see I have 0 out of 10. If I wanted to run it again, I can come up here and I can either run with Battle Arena tickets or I can run with Sealess. I don't really want to do either one of those at the moment. I had my 5 tickets. I'm happy. I'm walking away. I'm done with my dailies. Okay? So, really, if you want to recap this, quest, daily quest, run the daily quest, skip, run upgrade quest, skip, come over here, arena, battle arena, run one. It'll take you 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes tops. Well, okay, in your early stage of the game, unless you just absolutely just get clobbered, you might be going for a minute if you're going up against other units of your same SRUR level. But nevertheless, that's my dailies. Now, while this did take 27 minutes to explain, it'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes to do at absolute worst. Then we come over here to missions. Look at that. Clear any 3 quests, clear 1 daily quest, play Battle Arena, 1 enhancement quest. Now, the one I didn't cover is exchange at the daily shop. Click on this. Do not be scared of this, because once you come over here to the shop, under packs and under recommended, at the very tip top, you'll see this says free. You could buy free Valis, free Sealess, and free upgrade items every single day. They're free, which is actually pretty cool. I like that. Now, I know it dangles the carrot, and I know that's exactly what they're doing here, but nevertheless, go back here, and I have all of my rewards. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Bulk receive those bad boys. Then it'll come up here and say, I completed 4 daily missions. We'll grab those. 6 daily missions. We'll grab those. Now, you're not quite done yet, because once you've done that, we're going to go down here, and we're going to go to Battle Pass. Okay? Once again, it's right below missions on this main screen. Click Battle Pass. I know I've got other missions to complete. That's for a higher level video. And then click Daily, because not only that, but down here, for doing enhancement quests, for doing arena, for doing your logins, it does say stamina. So what it's going to ask, let's go ahead and bulk receive all those. What it's going to ask is that I run a few more events, I blow another 50 stamina, but that's once again real easy because you come over here and in the early part of the game, you should be running these story quests anyway. So, a normal story quest, let's just grab any old normal story quest. How much stamina does it require? Stamina needed 12. So, run a whole run of these story quests, and you will actually have your rewards pretty easily. So, there's 7 battles. Let me just hit 7 skips. That'll emulate essentially running that. And boom. Go over to Battle Pass. I did 7 skips because that's like running all 7 events equivalent to. And then go over here, and if you have questions about that, comments below. And then now I've got my stamina. Bam. Easy peasy, pretty straightforward. And honestly, by the time you get later on in the game, you could do the very hards and the hards and things like that, and they cost even more stamina. You could finish them up a lot faster. Info overload, but I want to get you guys prepared for everything that you need going forward. Then go up here to top. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of rewards here, and basically you want to run this every day. Unfortunately, I probably missed a couple of stamina requests, but as you go in here, you'll see that I'm going to grab 6 of these large Exilias, and you'll see that tomorrow I'm going to get 60 Sealess. I'm going to get another of the red Exilias. I'm going to get the actual books here. I'm going to get these coins, which we'll cover much later on. Later on, I'll get 200 Sealess and so on and so forth. You get these every day, so do not forget to do your battle passes. Now, you can buy a battle pass package, and it'll give you even more rewards. But I always try to keep these at like a base level for my free-to-play players. If you want a video on that, let me know in the comments. We will discuss it. But for now, that's your dailies. And while I said it took me half hour, it'll take you 5 to 10 minutes tops. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Once again, I know it's like a deep dive into this, but I don't want to just tell you how to do it. I want to tell you why and explain everything so the early players know exactly what they need to do to succeed. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again real soon for more danchro.